Hello, everyone. Welcome to Magic Maree and Jasper. And today we have a very special guest appearance from Clive. This is Clive. Say hello. Isn't he just adorable? So this little boy, he came into my life in about end of January, February. And what's happened with him and how we've actually worked with him. I wanted to really talk to you guys today about animals and how we can actually help animals come back into balance on an energetic level, on a physical level, an emotional level, and even spiritually connect with them. So I've always loved animals. So I thought maybe it's time that we get some little tips and tricks and ways of helping animals when they maybe get out of balance at home, or if you've got horses, or even when we're talking about wild animals that maybe visit us, birds, whatever it is. So what I'd really like to do with some of these YouTubes is to help us to, number one, how do we communicate with our animals, or how do they communicate with us, and enhancing that process. The second thing is, what is it they need? What is it that they need to help support them, whether it's physically, like I said, emotionally, mentally. So, and maybe what is it that they are showing us that we can then work on to help us to become more balanced? Because animals can be amazing at helping us, like a mirror, helping us to see what's going on a subconscious level that we haven't yet seen, and it's time to heal. So, and then I want to just talk around some really simple energy procedures that we can work with on animals. So, but firstly, I'd just really like to introduce Clive. And here we go. He's just so beautiful. And his story, and how I have actually been working with him to help support him. So yeah, I've been fostering animals for about probably 10, 11 years now. I've done lots and lots of cats, and I've had friends that have adopted them. They've been complete love stories within the family of these animals. I've done a couple of dogs, and one of the dogs was actually adopted by a friend as well. But what happened was I started to notice that every time I was fostering, some of the cats had been lost and handed in to the AWL. Some of them had been surrendered in for different reasons, like personal reasons, for families that couldn't take them with them, or they got sick, or they even passed away. And I started to notice that different cats had different reactions and responses to their situation. I've always talked with animals. Even as a child, I thought it was normal that you actually talk to your dogs, and you know what they want, and they then show you or take you somewhere. And wild animals, I used to study them. Ants, I'd just sit there and study them for hours. So I always had this ability to communicate with animals. Thought it was quite normal that everyone did it. And that's been helpful with me. We grew up on a farm with lots of animals around, which was actually really helpful to be in that space anyway. To have beautiful ducklings hatching from their eggs in your hands when you're a child, there's nothing like it. We had pet emu. His name was Fred, and he was really big. When you're 3 and you're looking up at this massive emu, it's like you're really big, Fred, but no fear around it. And yeah, we had all sorts of animals. We were very blessed, had baby kangaroos, joeys. If the mother had been hurt, damaged, or shot, we would get the actual joey and then take care of it. So it was a fascinating way to grow up as a child. Always had lots of animals and pets and around us. So yes, I actually have then carried that on with animals and communicating with them. So how can we communicate with our animals? So number one is take time to actually sit with them. If you've got a pet, whether it's a dog or a cat, just sit with it. I connect in to my higher self, or to my divine wisdom. So I drop into my heart space, ask to be connected to my divine self, and then ask to be connected to the higher self of the animal. So in this way, we can communicate with them there. And this creates more trust. It makes us trust ourselves more and what we're getting. And it helps that animal to build trust with us when we're coming from that beautiful, energetic, divine place. So that's the first way we can communicate. The second way is with emotions. Now, I'm an empath. I have been an empath in my life, which means I can actually feel other animals' emotions, and I'm very sensitive to it. So this enables me to tune into their emotional body and what they're going through. And I knew this, like as a child, even I could feel, if an animal was excited and wanted to show me something, or if they were actually feeling really sad. So, like for example, when I lived in the city, when I first moved to Queensland in Australia, I would run every day. It was like a beautiful farm area. I would run every day, and there would be horses and all sorts of animals along my run. I remember one day, I almost started crying. I had to stop running, and I was going, "What is wrong with me?" And I looked around, and there was a beautiful horse, and its head was over the fence, sort of looking at me from across the road. And I could feel the grief. So I went over there, and I was crying, and I felt like the horse was crying. So I was actually just stroking it and loving it and tuning into it. And I said, "It's okay. Tomorrow I'm going to bring you an apple, and we can chat again and see how you're going." And my heart was just breaking for this horse. And so I sent love and then just kept running. And then the next day, true to my word, took an apple back to give to this beautiful horse that had been so sad. And I got there, and there was no horse. And I went, "Where are you?" And I looked over, and this horse was jumping around, frolicking in absolute joy. They'd brought his buddy back. Obviously, the other horse he shared that paddock with had gone off for some, but don't know what. That's, could have been a procedure. It could have been just going somewhere. And this horse was in ecstasy. And I was just going, he was just heartbroken because he missed his buddy. So animals have this connection with other animals as well. It's like us. It's like if they took our best friend away, we would feel real grief, real heartbreak, real sadness. So it's really important. What I learned was it's very important to actually talk to our animals, to let them know what's going on. And when we do it through our higher self aspect, yes, then they understand. So we're going to talk about that one today, and then we'll talk about some of the others on another day. I want to keep the videos quite short. And I also had another cat that when I lived in Perth quite a few years ago, I had to go, and I was living in Sydney, going to Sydney to live. And I sat with them and I talked with them, and I said, "Look, are you going to be okay if you stay here?" I had a friend living in my home, and this person will look after you. You know them, you trust them. It's going to be about 3 months till I can find somewhere to bring you over to live with me. And he was sitting on the fence, on this beautiful little brick fence, just looking at me. And he literally just looked at me, got his paw, slapped me in the face, and walked off. So he wasn't happy with the arrangement, but he did know what was going on. And it was a bit of a journey for him because he grew a lot and he changed a lot in that time. And when I got him over there, it was fine. He was happy. But when I actually had to let him go because I was moving into a unit and he wouldn't have coped. He was used to being able to go in and out, do what he wanted, freedom. That cat was just incredible. And I had him, and I was talking to him, and I said, "You're going to go back and live with my sister in Perth. Is this going to be okay with you? Or would you rather try and deal with being in a unit situation?" And he rolled over. Literally, he was laying on my bed, and he just rolled over and put all his paws up and started purring. So I knew that he was accepting that for him, for his soul, it was going to be better to be with someone he knew and loved, but have that freedom to come and go as he pleased. So we can talk and communicate with our animals. So that's something you could start practicing, is actually just tuning into your heart, asking for your divine wisdom, your higher self to come through, whatever you call it, tuning into the animal and asking for their divine wisdom, their higher self, that you can communicate in that space. Because often in the physical space, if they've been traumatized or if they're just not well physically, you can actually get a clearer communication with them. Always come from that place of love. Don't presume anything. You could be quite surprised with what's going on with them. And because this happened with little Clive here, when I had him, even as a foster cat, I was doing that, going through my higher self to his higher self. I couldn't get through. There was this big wall up. And I asked a friend of mine who can do a similar thing. And I said, "Can you please tune in for me?" She went, "No, there's a big wall up." I went, "Yeah, he's not ready." So he was so traumatized that even within his spiritual aspect, he wasn't ready to communicate. So this is when we just give them a very safe space and let them be who they need to be. So maybe start practicing that with your animals. Firstly, of course, like I said, we always have to have our own faith, have our own trust in our wisdom, our divine wisdom, and our higher self. Clive's just got up to say hello to everyone. So we'll continue the journey with Clive and what's happened and how he's needed the support and what I've learned through this journey as well, because I actually ended up adopting him. First foster fail in over 10 years, and I really got a very strong message from my divine wisdom, from my higher self, that this little boy was to stay with me. So thanks for listening. Start practicing. connecting in with your higher self and with your beautiful animals. Even, like I said, even you can do it with birds, you can do it with anyone. So, and we'll continue this with the next YouTube. Thanks for being here. Jasper says hello. He loves communicating and actually helping with the animals as well. He's a very big-hearted boy. So that's Jasper. For those of you who don't know who Jasper is, you can pop a comment down below and we can do a quick review. So some of my other videos, he's on there. So take care, love yourself, love your animals, and we will talk next time. Thank you for listening. Bye.